All right, so today we're looking at the custom 80 keyboard from Drop, and I gotta be real with you, I didn't even know this board was coming out. Drop hit me up and asked if I would do a quick first impressions, like a short, because it was launching in just a few days. My schedule is jammed right now, but I reluctantly agreed to do that because I'm sure there's some people that wanna know if this board is on the level or not. And two, Drop honestly sounded really confident about what they put together. So I did agree to do this, but the format is a little different today. This isn't even a scripted video. It's a lot more casual. My long form format, when I distill it down into a short, sounds like a frantic commercial, and I hate that, so I didn't want to do that. So we're just gonna walk through some of what I like and what I don't, and then we'll throw some sound tests on the end. So this is a basic wedge-shaped TKO, pretty standard layout, does have an F13 key. Big killer feature here is that this top plate just pulls off with magnets, and then you can replace this with different top plates in both plastic and aluminum for a quick color change. And as you saw there, I didn't have to like pull any keycaps or switches or anything. That was a really quick fix, and it's pretty sturdy too. Like I'm holding this by the sides and the keyboard's not falling out of here. This is solid. These are priced at $99 for the bare bones or $149 for the pre-built, which I've got here today. First impressions, this thing looks really clean. Sounds really good too. Looks like we've got Gateron KS3 Pros Milky Tops. These are linear switches, really smooth, really nice, and a palm plate. Hey, it looks like Drop's been taking notes. We've got PCB mount stabilizers in here, and they sound pretty good. Spacebar could use maybe a little more lube on that left side. This is hot swap, 5-pin sockets with south-facing LEDs. And to get away with this and still have backlighting, we've got blank tops on all the keycaps, which looks super clean. And then we have side legends on all the fronts, so you can still see what you're doing. There is per key RGB here. There's no underglow of any kind here. You can get optional aluminum top plates that cover the sides of the board as well, but the whole chassis is plastic. They do have pretty beefy metal threads inside, so you should be able to open and reopen this board as many times as you want to without any issue. There are no cables to look out for because there's no daughter board here. This entire assembly just lifts right out like this. It is gasket mount, no stick-on pour-on strips. That's cool. You just have these little soft, smushy tabs in here. These are really soft durometer, not sure what they're made of. You get 3 up and 3 down and none on the sides, so you should be able to get a little bounce there. Looks like 3 layers of sound dampening, so we've got some foam in between the plate and the PCB. Then we have a big, pretty thick pour-on sheet behind the PCB itself. And then we've got a real, like, fatty silicone wedge in the bottom of this thing. So that explains why this sounds so good right out of the box. I really like that this board is so easy to get in and out of because you can come in here and experiment with the sound dampening without doing anything crazy. And I'm sure by pulling a lot of the silicone out, you can experiment with some bounce or some flex as well. The only reason you have to really get into the PCB is if you want to change the plate material or remove the plate foam. There is a weight here in the bottom. It is brushed aluminum, so it's not adding a lot of weight like brass would, but because it is an all plastic chassis, it does add a little bit of heft. I'm sure they'll have some aftermarket options for this as well. Personally, I don't mind an all plastic chassis because it's much easier to make an entry-level plastic board sound good versus making an entry-level aluminum board sound good. So software on drop boards has always been kind of an area of opportunity because you used to have to build all your rebinds in their online configurator and then export that firmware, and then you'd have to load that into your board using QMK Toolbox. Not exactly an entry-level experience really. And I'm very happy to report that a lot of that has changed. I was able to just go on their new configurator website and immediately download a copy of the firmware that had VIA support and then flash that to the board super easy just using the website itself. And they had really clear instructions on how to do that. I was up and running with software that had VIA support in literally under a minute. And to be honest, I don't know why it doesn't just ship that way, but yeah, it works great and it's super easy to do. There is no vial support yet, but they tell me that that's coming and it shouldn't be too long at all. Completely built with the plastic top, this board weighs about 2 pounds and 13 ounces. And with the all aluminum top, it weighs in at 3 pounds, 5.6 ounces. All right, so all in all, what have we got here and what are we missing? We've got a $99 bare bones. We've got $149.99 for pre-built. I like the pre-built. I like the choice of switches and I like the caps a lot. We've got everything you would traditionally want from a mechanical keyboard. We've got hot swap, 5-pin, south-facing LED, PCB mount stabilizers. We've got VIA compatibility. It's really easy to open and work on, and you can kind of adjust this sliding scale between flex, bounce, and acoustics. And the idea that you can just like pop the top off and completely replace this for a whole new look without taking off the switches of the caps is like genius level. We don't have wireless, we don't have a knob or a media roller, any kind of dedicated media keys. We don't have a cool little LCD screen like's become really common with the Zoom stuff from Melitrix. And while we do have per key RGB, we don't have any kind of underglow. And outside of the optional aluminum top, it is an all plastic design, which again, I don't mind. I'm not mad at this. And it's gonna be in stock. I get asked from my normie real life friends all the time how they can get into custom mechanical keyboards. It always comes down to 3 major pain points. 1, finding readily available stock or finding everything they need in the same place. 2, finding a layout that doesn't feel totally foreign to them. And 3, backlit keycaps. I had no idea how much of a make it or break it having backlit keycaps still are for most people. And they almost never want to build their own board. They want me to build it for them instead. I don't have any problem steering somebody I care about towards this board. So yeah, nice, solid stuff from Drop. I like it, and hopefully you've got enough information to decide whether or not you like it too. Let me know in the comments what you think about this format. This is much faster for me to produce like this, and I've been doing this little thing every day on Instagram and TikTok where I just press record on my phone and talk a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes to be a full-time content creator. And right now we're kind of in the middle of the origin story. So I'm getting a lot more comfortable just sitting and talking to the camera like this. We'll check out some sound tests, and I'll see you next time.